Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kryptonian saying here, bringing you guys a review for One Piece chapter 876. And god damn, dude, I thought for sure Nami had defeated Big Mom, and now I feel like such a fucking idiot. It's like every time I start to just disrespecting Big Mom, be like, yo, they took her down, this is it. Big Mom just shows up and reminds me like she's a emperor for a fucking reason. Like I flip-flop on Big Mom the same way that Pudding was flip-flopping on this chapter, man. Like this is absolutely crazy. So Luffy and them, they're saying exactly what I'm thinking. They're like, oh my god, okay, so we completely took her out. Look at this big ass crater. There's no way that at the bottom of this hole that Big Mom's even alive. And then you hear da-dump, da-dump, da-dump. And then Jinbe saying, Mama's footsteps, I figured it wouldn't be enough. It's like, Jinbe, why the fuck didn't you say this shit earlier? Like, why the fuck didn't you say this earlier? Why'd you let them have some false hope? But I'm going to give Oda a pass there, okay? I'm going to give him a pass there because you get this really awesome sequence of events where Jinbe, as he's talking, says when Mama's hunger pains are going on, when she's having them, she's unstoppable. And you get this crazy ass spread where on one side you got Big Mom and she's just going through all of the ground, and you see the ground actually caving, and you see this enraged look on her face, and Nami's just shouting, no way, she's actually splitting the ground. And then Nami's the first one out of that motherfucker. Nami's the first one out of that bitch. She takes off running. Big Mom's coming straight through the ground. She's screaming wedding cake, and that's just a beautiful ass scene. Like that's so beautifully drawn right there. Like I love the way that Oda's making use of his pages and panels in this one. This was really fucking beautiful. I love this one right here. And I also like how very subtly Luffy's looking over at Big Mom, and I think Luffy's realizing I'm dealing with a fucking monster right here. Like the more that this arc is continuing, the more I'm starting to realize they have no fucking shot against Kaido. They have no fucking shot against Kaido. Like if Big Mom's the weakest of the four emperors, like I theorized, if that's the case, Kaido's gonna murder them. Like I don't care what type of plans they're doing. They gotta have some type of ill ass plan to where they're just stripping Kaido of all of his hacks and all of his power to level the playing field. Cause that motherfucker's huge. That motherfucker's huge. And when you look at Big Mom and how she just dwarfs everybody, it's like seeing Kevin Nash and seeing X-Pac standing next to each other. So for those of you who have been with me for a long time, you guys know I'm a huge wrestling fan. So if you just go back to like X-Pac when he was in DX, and then when he joined the NWO, and then Kevin Nash side by side, that's Big Mom standing next to any of these people. Like it's absolutely crazy how big she is. But this is what's crazy though. Like Big Mom, she's got that one-track mind. She's saying, I know you got the wedding cake straw hats, I know you got it. And Luffy, as Luffy's getting ready to say something back, Pudding just shows up. Pudding shows up, and that's when Pedro says, I told you we should have tied this bitch up. We can't trust her. And Luffy's about to go off on her, and Pudding immediately steps in, and she says, listen to me for a second. And that's when we start seeing the signs that Pudding is a bipolar bitch. Like, she might legit be bipolar. Like, I thought that this bitch just wasn't loyal. She might be bipolar, because we see this moment where she is looking at the straw hats. So you can tell she's about to hand out all types of smoke. And then when Sanji sees her, he says, Pudding, my darling, you're all right. Thank goodness. Your pretty sweet features, they weren't hurt at all. Pudding looks like she passes out for a second, having like the brain meltdown, and then all of a sudden Pudding sees Big Mom, the light switch flips, and she says, look at you miserable rodents. You're never gonna survive this. She says, don't waste your time trying to escape by ship. Mama's gonna chase you all across the sea until it sinks and you guys fall to your death. She's got this crazy look on her face. She's looking like the type of bitch that after you nut in her, she's like, oh, this motherfucker got money. Jackpot, bitches. And then all of a sudden, when that happens, that's when Lola's sister, she talks her out of it, and she's like, Pudding, what the fuck are you talking about right now? And then Pudding goes back to being the innocent child. She's drawn with her hands on her face, and she's crying, and she's like, this bitch is bipolar. Like, what the fuck, dude? And then all of a sudden, after they lay out the plan and tell them, like, hey, you know, Big Mom thinks you guys have her wedding cake. That's why she's coming after you guys. You guys need to find a way out of this. We're trying to bake a cake. That's when Pudding shows up, and she's just got that crazy look on her face again. She's like, that's right, Sanji, you come with me. You stand by my side and slaughter and savor Big Mom slaughtering your crewmates. Savor every moment of it. And then she slips around and she calls him dear. And it's just like, what the fuck? She goes from saying Big Mom's gonna slaughter everybody to all of a sudden she's looking at Sanji. She's got that crazy look on her face, and she's saying like, well, it's not because I didn't want anything to happen to you. It's not because of that. But Sanji, dear, it's like she flips the switch, and the straw has to look at her, and she says her hormones are flip-flopping like crazy. Like, this is some crazy shit. But you know what I like about this? What I really like about this is it feels like what Oda's doing in this moment is Oda is essentially trying to give us a moment where he's showing that Pudding's actually conflicted. Because I do think that Sanji gave Pudding the first real compliment that she's ever gotten from somebody that wasn't rooted in a way to try and use her. And I think Pudding's struggling with that. I think she's struggling with her evil nature as well as for the kindness that Sanji showed her and the effect that that's having on her. It's going to be very interesting to watch this part of the interaction going forward. But what I like about in this moment is how Luffy sees Big Mom's back on her shoulders. She's doing everything, and she takes that sword and she swings it, and then she just capsizes part of the fucking island. She swings. You see all this debris flying up. You see the indentures in the ground, and it's really crazy that Big Mom, even though she's enraged, has that much control that she recognizes her children, and she swings that attack. So that's interesting right there. And what I like is the fact that Pudding, again, she fucking flip-flops. Pudding is using her ability to take the memories or restore memories, and she confuses the Seducing Woods homies, and she gets this moment where all the trees, they basically stop trying to lead the Straw Hats towards the wall. That way they can be pinned in by Big Mom. But now they have a clear path to the Thousand Sunny. They have a clear path to the coast, and that's when we get this moment where Sanji notices the Thousand Sunny, and he realizes that Brook is fighting on it, and you get this moment where you see Brook is just wheezing, he's out of breath, and yet he's still doing that shit talking. He's like, look, I'm still the Soul King. Damn right I held my own against the Peacekeepers. And as this happens, Katakuri's just looking. And it's almost like, you know, he doesn't look like he has that foresight because he doesn't have like the eyes shaded out like he normally does when it's activated. But I like how after Zeus has that moment where he apologizes, stating that he couldn't really control himself, Big Mom goes on a rage, and that's when Sanji says, like, look, we're going to come up with a wedding cake, and this wedding cake is going to be enough to knock Big Mom on her ass. And so what I like about this right here is that the arc's called Whole Cake Island. Sanji is potentially marrying a baker. Sanji is a chef. Big Mom loves to eat. One of the things that calls her into her path of the tyrant, which is basically what she's on now, is basically she had those hunger pains. It changed everything for her. And it might actually be Sanji cooking shit that actually causes Big Mom to potentially come down a few pegs or maybe even defeat her. So I think this is interesting. I think this is a very interesting bit of foreshadowing right here. But I want to know from you guys, how symbolic do you think it is that they're potentially using cooking as a way to bring down Big Mom? Let me know down in the comment section below. As always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.